My story began when the criminal tortured and killed me. My father, an expert investigator, and my mother, the chief medical examiner, were with my brother Liam at his competition. The criminal, seeking revenge against my father who had previously arrested him, cut out my tongue, then used my phone to call my dad. My father only said one thing before hanging up. "Whatever it is, your brother's competition is the most important thing today." The criminal sneered. "Looks like I grabbed the wrong person. I thought they loved their biological son more." At the crime scene, my parents were shocked by the gruesome state of the body, condemning the killer's brutality, but they didn't recognize that the horrifically mutilated victim was their own son. My body was discovered in an abandoned building. The construction worker who found me couldn't stop vomiting as he called the police. My parents rushed over from Liam's victory celebration. The crime scene investigator frowned, signaling them to put on masks. My father was a top-tier consulting detective for the Chicago PD, and my mother was the city's leading medical examiner. Even though they had seen countless horrific crime scenes, the sight of this body made them waver. In the summer heat, the body was bloated, the face smashed into a pulp of blood and flesh, features unrecognizable, covered in wounds. The head was barely connected to the neck by a shred of skin and muscle. The stench of advanced decomposition filled the air. My mother closed her eyes, took a deep breath, pulled on gloves, and began the preliminary examination. Her eyes, looking at my corpse, held a pity I had never received from her in life. I watched nervously as she removed the blood-stained ring from my hand. I had made several identical rings for my family, but my parents had scolded me because Liam's didn't fit. "We knew you had bad intentions, deliberately bullying your brother Nathan. Even though you're our biological son, Liam has lived in this home for 18 years. He'll always be more important than you." Even though those angry words still echoed in my ears, I believed my parents still loved me. They would surely recognize the gift I gave them. But my mother simply showed no emotion as she signaled an assistant to place the ring in an evidence bag. I shouldn't have expected anything. I never existed in my parents' hearts even though I was their biological son. My sister Chloe told me they adopted Liam because they couldn't find me after I was abducted, that I was still their most beloved son. But when I returned home, there was no place left for me. I felt like the intruder, the cuckoo in the nest. After surveying the scene, Dad sighed and asked Mom, "What's the situation with the body?" Mom took off her gloves, rubbing her temples. Victim appears to be around 20 years old. Preliminary cause of death is throat slitting, likely preceded by prolonged torture. Extremely brutal methods. This will have a major public impact. We need to solve it quickly before the media frenzy starts. Dad lit a cigarette, taking a deep drag, clearly worried. Even in death, I was causing trouble for my parents. The crime scene investigator reminded them, "The killer hasn't been caught. Tell your family to be extra careful lately. You have 2 kids. Don't let them go out at night." Mom replied impatiently, "Liam always listens, but Nathan, I can't control him." The investigator was an old classmate of my parents and knew our family situation. Dad gently rubbed his right shoulder. The investigator noticed, "Dave, your shoulder bothering you again?" Dad waved it off. "It's nothing. Use that pain patch Nathan bought." He paused, freezing mid-sentence. The son they called disobedient was the one concerned about their health. The investigator patted Dad's back. "Be good to Nathan. He's your biological son after all." Dad shook his head. Liam's tennis tournament was the other day. He kept saying he wanted Nathan to watch, but what did Nathan do? Ignored the call, pretended to be unreachable. Liam was so disappointed thinking about his brother that he only got 3rd place. Nathan hasn't been home for days. Who knows when he'll turn up dead somewhere. Kids you don't raise yourself just don't turn out right. Hearing my parents blame and complain about me felt like falling into ice water. "Mom, Dad, it wasn't that I didn't want to come home. I just couldn't come back, ever again. The ungrateful brat you speak of died on the day you were watching Liam play tennis. My body is right here in front of you." At the case briefing, after hearing Mom's autopsy report, all the officers looked grim. My horrific state prevented facial recognition. The abandoned building wasn't the primary crime scene, making the case much harder. Dad assigned officers to check the area near the dump site for suspicious individuals. "Have them do another examination. See if there's anything new. Get the extracted DNA to the lab ASAP," Dad told Mom before rushing out with his team. My parents showed more concern for this corpse than they ever did for me. Mom once stroked Liam's hair, saying, being a medical examiner, speaking for the dead, was a noble profession. I saw Liam nod agreeably, only to wipe his hair disgustedly when Mom turned away. That time, I slapped Liam for it, and Dad punished me by shaving my head. Now, Mom touched the hair on my corpse, her voice laced with pain. To die so horribly, his family must be heartbroken. A bitter smile touched my lips. My family would probably be happy I was dead. Maybe only Chloe would be sad. Mom's gloved hand passed over my back. There was a large burn scar there from when I was abducted. When I was brought home, changing clothes, Mom had looked surprised and slightly disgusted. What happened to your back? It's disgusting. Don't scare Liam. Could she recognize me from this scar? I bit my lip, sweat beading on my forehead. But the next second, Mom murmured dismissively, "Not from this time." An assistant suddenly gasped, "Dr. Anderson, there's paper in the victim's stomach." Mom's eyes widened as she took it, sighing softly, "Corroded by stomach acid. We'll see if the lab can analyze it later." Suddenly, a phone rang. Liam's favorite song. Mom stripped off her gloves and hurried into the hallway, her voice incredibly gentle. "Honey, what's wrong?" "Mommy's working. Tomorrow Dad and I will definitely be there to cheer you on. Your brother's out of town on business. He can't make it." Liam's sweet voice came through the phone. "Love you, Mom. I still wish Nathan could come see me play. With his encouragement, I know I'd win. It's okay if brother doesn't want to come. It's normal. He doesn't like me after all. I've monopolized your and Dad's love for so many years. He clearly couldn't stand me, constantly setting me up behind my back since the day I came home, but he loved playing the devoted brother in front of our parents. Based on past experience, Mom was probably about to curse me out again. Sure enough, her voice rose sharply. "You are Mommy and Daddy's precious boy. What is Nathan? Stealing money from home, bullying you behind our backs. He's not worthy of being my son. Don't worry. Even if his legs were broken, I'd make him come in a wheelchair to watch you play." Liam chuckled lightly. "Dad called me today. Told me to be careful, Mom. If you have time, remember to remind brother. You just take care of yourself. As long as Nathan doesn't die right in front of me, who cares where he's messing around?" Mom always sounded particularly annoyed when she mentioned me. Maybe because the son they found wasn't well-educated, wasn't presentable. After I was found, they wouldn't even change my last name. In their hearts, Liam was their only son. While worrying about his safety, neither of them remembered I was their actual child. If they knew the cause of my death, how would they react? After all, my death was orchestrated by Liam, and they played a part too. After gently telling Liam to rest early, Mom answered a call from my sister Chloe. "When does your business trip end?" "Your brother is waiting for you to watch his match," Mom asked hurriedly before Chloe could even speak. The day I was brought home, Mom and Dad were consoling a crying Liam. Only Chloe took my hand, led me into the house, and told me not to be afraid. She was the only warmth I felt in that home. Chloe sounded surprised on the phone. "Is it Nathan's math competition? Isn't that next month?" Mom cut her off angrily. Nathan. Liam is the brother you've spent years with. How many times have I told you? Nathan was raised rough outside, full of bad habits. He doesn't deserve to be an Anderson." Chloe sighed, seemingly unable to understand Mom's animosity towards me. "Mom, don't always just listen to Liam. Nathan is kind and hardworking. You'd see it if you paid more attention." I just called Nathan. He didn't answer. He didn't reply to my text from 2 days ago either. "Is he not home?" Mom scoffed coldly. "He has his own legs. Can I tie him down? He's probably out messing around again. Liam's tennis match is tomorrow. If you can't make it back, fine." After a pause, Mom added, "Tell Nathan to stop playing these disappearing games. If he doesn't show up for Liam's match tomorrow, he should never come back. The house is better off without him anyway." Ignoring Chloe's attempts to defend me, she hung up. Dad happened to return with his team just then. Seeing Mom's displeasure, he asked, "Is the body proving difficult?" Mom shook her head, complaining, "It's Nathan again. Probably called Chloe to whine. Now his sister's playing along with his disappearing act." Dad sighed heavily. "He knows how busy we are, still pulling this useless stuff. So inconsiderate. I'll call and chew him out right now." But no matter how many times he dialed, it went straight to voicemail. Ungrateful brat. Better if we hadn't found him. All he does is make us angry. The investigator, who had heard everything, remarked, "After Nathan was abducted back then, You two took a year off to find him. How come now that he's back, it's like you're enemies? I couldn't help but press my lips together, a bitter taste filling my mouth. Because the son they found was me, this ill-mannered, timid country bumpkin. When I was brought home at 15, Mom and Dad were in the lavish living room, patiently comforting a sobbing Liam. I stood there in my patched clothes, awkwardly staring down at my worn-out sneakers with a toe poking through. When Liam saw me, he stopped crying and asked with feigned innocence, "Who's this little beggar?" My parents' faces instantly darkened, not because of Liam, but because of me, the son who didn't match their fantasy. "Detective, Dr. Anderson," I checked the records. "No missing persons reports filed in the last 2 days." An officer approached with the logs. "A son goes missing and the family doesn't even notice. Must have a bad relationship with them. Are there really parents like that? Don't care about their kid at all?" Hearing the surrounding chatter, I felt a wave of sorrow. A heavy grief enveloped me, suffocating me. My parents could feel sorry for a victim whose parents didn't report them missing promptly, yet they never wondered if I was safe during the days I was gone. The parents who dropped everything, even their jobs, to search for me when I was abducted, now suspected my disappearance was just a ploy for attention. Maybe I shouldn't have returned to the Anderson home after being found. This was Liam's home, not mine. The years when my parents cared most about me were already occupied by Liam. The affection and love that should have been mine would never lean my way again. Mom handed the acid-damaged paper to the investigator. He rubbed his sore lower back and said helplessly to Dad, "Hope this paper yields something. Did you remind Liam to lock the doors?" Dad nodded grimly, then hesitated. "Honey, Nathan isn't answering his phone, hasn't replied to Chloe. Could something have really happened? Should I have someone look into it?" Mom cut him off irritably. "Oh, come on. You know him. He's hiding, waiting for us to look for him. It's not the first time he's pulled this stunt. He just doesn't want to go to Liam's match. By tomorrow at the latest, he'll call us, crying and apologize." The last time I disappeared, Liam had locked me in a school bathroom during summer break. The school was deserted. No one heard my calls for help. I exhausted myself climbing out, returning home filthy with a sprained ankle. What awaited me was Dad's heavy slap and Mom's fury. "Liam said he saw you going into a motel with a girl. How could I have raised such a shameless thing?" I couldn't defend myself, only watch Liam's triumphant hidden smirk. When Chloe applied medicine to my bruises, she gently tried to console me. "Mom and Dad don't dislike you. They just don't know how to relate to you." But I knew, compared to the clever, articulate Liam, the quiet, awkward me would never win our parents' affection. The scales of parental love always tip towards the one they favored. Sadly, that person would never be me. If I were still alive, I would probably be bringing them homemade soup at the station when they worked late. But this time, I couldn't show up and apologize as they expected. After all, I was just a dead man. The lab results came back quickly. The paper was a shopping receipt. To torture me, the killer had contemptuously shoved it into my mouth, forcing me to swallow it. "Buying these for your parents. Even if they got them, they'd probably just throw them in the trash." Dad looked puzzled. "What place is this?" The investigator paused. I looked it up. "It's a shop that sells good luck charms and keepsakes." When my parents and other officers entered the shop, the owner was startled. She took the tattered receipt, looked at the number in the corner, and checked her orders. "A young man bought these a while ago. Said they were for his parents, that their work was dangerous, but he never came to pick them up and didn't answer his phone." The owner then produced 2 small red pouches. "These are for safety," she said softly, "meaning peace, happiness, and long life." Dad took the pouches, sighed, and asked, "Do you still have the security footage from then?" The owner nodded. The young man was quiet, very polite, spent a long time choosing the style for his parents. I remember him clearly. But when the footage played, all the officers fell silent. Mom swallowed hard, staring intently at the screen. "That boy. Why does he look like Nathan?" Hearing this, the owner said, "Nathan, that's the name left on the order." Dad's face darkened, struggling to remain calm. "Maybe it's just someone with the same name. Nathan's probably hiding somewhere, laughing at us." "Ma'am, are you conspiring with Nathan? You dare to trick the police?" Suddenly, a phone rang. Mom answered, her voice trembling. "Yes." The person from the lab spoke urgently. "Dr. Anderson, the victim's DNA results are in." Mom seemed to sense it. She gripped Dad's arm, her nails digging into his flesh. The victim is your son, Nathan. Mom collapsed, repeating in disbelief. Nathan? How could it be him? Dad caught her, holding her tightly. An officer whispered, Detective, the primary crime scene's been found. A house in that rundown neighborhood near the abandoned building. Dad made an instant decision. Let's go to the scene first. The lab must have made a mistake. In the car, Mom dialed my number over and over. Dad stared straight ahead, driving, trying to console her. Don't worry. Maybe Nathan went to the station, conspired with the lab techs to trick us. But he knew deep down this wasn't something faked. I couldn't describe the feeling. It was like being suffocated by snakes. That neighborhood was rough, full of transients. Some didn't even have real IDs, unafraid of police searches. By the time Mom and Dad arrived, the house was cordoned off. As soon as the door opened, the stench of decay hit them. The bed sheets were soaked in blood. Splatter stained the walls and floor. Even as a soul, the memory of the torture made me tremble. The day I was taken, Liam called me. He said he'd hurt his leg and it would affect tomorrow's match. Though I disliked him, I didn't want Mom and Dad to worry. But when I got to the place he mentioned, I was knocked out from behind. When the blindfold was removed, I saw Liam and another man with an eerie smile. I didn't know the man, but Liam's words chilled me to the bone. I tricked him into coming. You promised you'd let me go. I still have to deal with those two old fools back home. The man's cheek twitched. He waved dismissively with a ghost of a smile. Shut your mouth. As Liam turned to leave, he sneered once. I'm out this door. We've never met. Don't worry, I wish Nathan was dead. After he left, the man seemed to notice the confusion and terror in my eyes. He gouged out my eyes viciously, stuffing a rag in my mouth as I screamed hysterically in pain. Don't recognize me, huh? Your parents arrested my brother. All he did was kill his wife, but because of your parents, he lost his life. The cold blade slid across my skin. I couldn't stop shaking. The next second, the man's words stunned me. I waited so long only to grab a fake. If your brother hadn't told me your parents adopted him to protect you, I wouldn't even have known you existed. He tortured me for a day and a night. Blinded, I never knew where the knife would cut next. Only the warmth of blood and ceaseless pain told me I was still alive. Until the next day when my body was numb with pain, my phone suddenly rang. The man let out a low chuckle. It's your dad calling. They do care about you after all. Dad's impatient voice entered my remaining right ear. Nathan, your brother's tennis match is such an important day. How dare you not show up? Mom added from the side. He's just an ungrateful brat. Liam lost points because he didn't come to watch. I whimpered, trying to cry for help, but without a tongue, no sound came out. Before hanging up, I heard Dad snap coldly. Not talking? Playing dead? We never should have acknowledged him when we found him. And now, Mom stumbled into this place where I lost my life, her legs giving way. She covered her mouth and knelt, tears splashing onto the floorboards. I looked quizzically at her tear-streaked face. A tiny scrape on Liam's hand would make her eyes well up with pity, but this was the first time I had ever seen Mom cry because of me. Dad took a deep breath, calmly pulled on gloves, and picked up a blood-spattered notebook from the table. But when he opened it, his eyes widened in disbelief. Inside were photos of Liam, notes about his hangouts, but in the end, the one who died wasn't him. Shock flickered in Dad's eyes. He seemed to guess something. His chest heaved rapidly. He clutched his heart, his usually straight back bending over. I heard a mournful cry escape his lips, mingling with Mom's sobs. Mom, Dad, you always said you wished I'd never been found. Now I've granted your wish. I can never go back. So why aren't you happy? Even the investigator's eyes welled up. Dave, Sarah, maybe you should head back to the station. The deputy and I will contact you with any developments. But Mom didn't seem to hear. Her gloved hand caressed a bloodstain on the floor. Nathan, he must have been in so much pain. A more sensitive officer nearby began to sob quietly. Mom and Dad got into the car looking utterly devastated. Seeing their vacant expressions, my own heart clenched painfully. From the day I was found until the day I died, I had never once heard them call me Nathan with such tenderness. Back at the station, the lab tech handed the full report to Dad, glancing sympathetically at Mom's dazed state. Detective Anderson, my condolences. Dad's pupils contracted instantly. He scanned the report meticulously, checking the name again and again. After a long moment, he forced out through gritted teeth, How is this possible? The tech looked pained, sighing as he patted Dad's shoulder. Detective, you've seen the crime scene, the bodies in the autopsy room. There's no faking this. Mom suddenly lunged forward and tore the report to shreds. Then, as if remembering something, she fumbled for the ring taken from the body earlier, staring at the faint image engraved inside. Mom's tears dripped onto the clear evidence bag. The police had initially assumed the engraving was the victim's initials, but actually they stood for Nathan Anderson, the name I dreamed of having after returning to the family. Dad helped Mom up and they walked heavily towards the autopsy room. Seeing my gruesome broken body, a low growl escaped Dad's throat. I watched them puzzled. Why were they in pain? My departure should have been what they always wanted. Mom stroked the burn scar on my back, her voice trembling. Nathan, how could Mom find you in a place like this? When you first came home, you were so dark and thin, like a little beggar. I told your dad back, then we needed to fatten you up properly. But how did everything change? I hated your sneaky habits, hated how you bullied Liam behind our backs. If only you'd never been taken away. Leaving like this, do you want your dad and me to live with the pain of losing our son forever? Strong men don't cry easily, but Dad's eyes were red too. His hands clenched into fists. Nathan, Dad didn't hate you. I was strict because I wanted you to learn right from wrong, to break those bad habits. If I had known that was our last phone call, Dad wouldn't have forced you to come to Liam's match. Didn't you have a math competition? Mom and Dad will go with you. Just wake up. I tried hard to take a deep breath, to hold back the uncontrollable tears. If only Mom and Dad had talked to me properly when I was alive. But it was too late. No matter how much they revealed their hearts now, I could never call them Mom and Dad again. Every time they unquestioningly believed Liam's words, the bond between me and this family frayed a little more until it finally snapped. From the moment I returned, Liam made no secret of his malice. He organized classmates to isolate me. Bugs in my desk, glue on my chair. These were just his minor tricks. Yet he would complain pitifully to Mom and Dad. Brother is such a loner at school. He ignores everyone. Does he not like me? Mom and Dad would sigh and tell me, Nathan, you're the older brother. You need to take care of Liam. You were missing for over 10 years. Liam was the one with us. You brothers need to get along. But they seemed to forget that during those 10+ years I was gone, I lived a life of rags and beatings. This, being found, seemed to be the greatest blessing I could expect. I shouldn't have craved the parental love that wasn't mine. Chloe saw my unease and suggested Mom and Dad change my name officially. But Liam interfered. Yesterday, I saw Brother go into Mom and Dad's room and take something. Dad found Mom's gold necklace in my school bag, veins throbbing on his forehead. You don't deserve to be an Anderson. No one listened to my explanation. After that, life at home became even harder. When I won an award at the math competition, I saw a rare look of approval on my parents' faces. The very next day, Liam came home soaking wet. He threw himself into Mom's arms, crying while warily glancing at me. That night, I was beaten relentlessly. Only Chloe's pleading got me sent back to my room. Realizing I could never shake his position in the family, Liam grew bolder. When he practiced tennis, he forced me to be his ball boy. He deliberately hit the ball hard at me, then complained to Mom and Dad that I wasn't paying attention. In their eyes, their found biological son, was simply hopeless. When Chloe heard about my death, she dropped everything and rushed back from her business trip. When she got home, Mom and Dad were sitting on the sofa, faces grim, eyes filled with pain. Beside them, Liam was weeping dramatically, eyes red and swollen, nose pink. Chloe, you're finally back. Brother, he was murdered. They haven't found the killer yet. Brother always offended people. I wonder if this time it was because. Dad suddenly roared. Enough. The suspect in this case has been identified. The department has sent people to arrest him. Your brother had no connection with him. He exchanged a look with Mom, agony reflected in their eyes. Learning the killer acted out of revenge for his brother's arrest years ago, the shock was too much. Both Mom and Dad fainted. The son they disliked the most had died because of them. Hearing this, a flicker of nervousness crossed Liam's face. He gripped his clothes tightly, cold sweat on his forehead. They found the killer so quickly. Why did he kill Brother? Mom, looking haggard with dark circles under her eyes, spoke wearily. Liam, Mom and Dad couldn't make it to your match. It's our fault. It affected your performance. Chloe sneered. He probably wished Nathan would never come back. Look at him. Does he look sad at all? Liam shot Chloe a pitiful look and snuggled into Mom's arms. Chloe, I know you and Nathan were close, but you can't blame me for Brother's death. I'll take good care of Mom and Dad for Brother from now on. Mom murmured gratefully. Seeing Mom cry for me earlier had filled my heart with a strange mix of gratitude and bitterness, like soaking in acid. But hearing her defend Liam now, I just felt worthless. Liam pushed me into the abyss. He was an accomplice to my murder. When I was alive, I always hoped Mom would see through Liam's lies and protect me gently. Now all I anticipated was their reaction upon learning the truth. Dad, however, glanced suspiciously at Liam before quietly calling Chloe upstairs. Mom continued to hold Liam close as if drawing warmth from him. Liam, your brother is gone. From now on, Mom only has you. Liam murmured comforting words to Mom while impatiently tapping on his phone. Liam, are you hurt? Mom noticed the red mark on Liam's arm. It was where I scratched him when he grabbed my chin as I struggled. But Liam explained, got hit by a tennis ball. It'll be fine tomorrow. He guiltily pulled down his sleeve, covering the mark. Mom looked at him thoughtfully, but said nothing more. Mom and Dad quickly returned to duty. The killer's whereabouts were still unknown. Dad declared through clenched teeth, I'll catch that monster as fast as possible to appease my son's spirit. While the department mobilized extensively to search without success, Chloe unexpectedly found a clue. Perhaps it was her reporter's instinct, but she often felt someone lurking around their house. Asking security and checking surveillance footage revealed a milk delivery man. Killers often returned to the scene, and Victor, the man who murdered me, was no different. He wanted to observe my parents' grief up close, savoring their pain. He didn't expect his arrogance would lead to his capture. Victor showed no fear or apprehension. He calmly watched Chloe help Mom and Dad into the interrogation room. Victor rattled the silver handcuffs on his wrists, a malicious grin spreading across his face. Got a smoke? Dad slammed the table. You think this police station is your home? A murderer, and you can still smile? Victor met Mom's hate-filled gaze, his grin widening. Detective Anderson, Dr. Anderson, quite the power couple of the force. When you arrested my brother, did you ever imagine this day would come? Mom screamed hoarsely. Your brother killed someone. He deserved to pay. What did our Nathan ever do wrong? Seeing their anguish, Victor grew even more delighted. His only mistake was being your son. The last words you left him with in this world were that he was playing dead, that you shouldn't have acknowledged him. He probably died with his eyes open, though I wouldn't know for sure, since I gouged them out long before. Victor bared his teeth in a grin. Impressive. Your biological son. He could really take it. I cut his face so many times trying to make him curse you, but he wouldn't say a word. He said his parents were always his heroes. I got tired, so I cut out his tongue. You monster. You don't deserve to live. Mom shrieked hysterically, her eyes bloodshot. Watching the scene, Victor was overjoyed. The more my parents suffered, the louder he laughed. His laughter echoed, piercing their hearts like arrows, flaying them emotionally. Mom shivered uncontrollably, biting her lip hard to keep from weeping. We failed Nathan. We didn't fulfill our duties as parents. Dad put an arm around Mom's shoulder, closing his eyes in sorrow. Nathan died because of us. It's our fault. Their figures seemed to shrink, suddenly looking old and stooped. As Mom, Dad, and Chloe were leaving, Victor whispered like a demon. Guess why I let your other son go? When Liam saw Mom, Dad, and Chloe in the audience at his tennis final, a smug smile touched his lips. I knew he thought that with me gone, he was securely the most favored child. During the break, Liam charmingly linked arms with Dad. Mom, Dad, Chloe, I'm so glad you could come. On the podium, Liam beamed, holding up his medal. Facing reporters, he smiled sweetly. I couldn't have achieved this without my family's support. I hope I can always be my parents' pride and my sister's beloved brother. Seeing Liam's triumphant look made me sick. His happiness was built entirely on my suffering. Why did Liam get to push me into hell and still enjoy applause and accolades? Murmurs spread through the crowd. Didn't his brother die recently? So tragic. Yet he's so talented. His brother was a good-for-nothing punk. Heard he was killed by a jealous lover over some girl. Liam heard the whispers too. His smile grew even wider, as if proclaiming his victory in causing my death. But then, several police officers appeared, walking towards Liam, whose smile froze. You must have the wrong person. I'm the champion of this tournament. Chloe, we've got the right person. Being champion doesn't hide your rotten heart. At this moment of greatest public attention, Liam's mask was brutally ripped away. Liam gasped, eyes wide. What evidence do you have? Mom. Dad. Help me. Chloe's gone crazy. Mom, bewildered, asked softly, Chloe. Victor gave us a recording pen. We've heard what you said. Everything was recorded. Liam telling me to die, calling Mom and Dad old fools. Victor had mockingly revealed where the recorder was hidden. Know why I let that boy go? Watching your beloved fake son destroy your real son. I wanted to make your pain even greater. Hearing this, Liam's face turned ashen and he collapsed to his knees. Mom started hitting him furiously. Seeing Liam utterly devoid of remorse or guilt, Dad asked bewildered, after your mother and I adopted you, we treated you like our own son. Even after Nathan came back, we never favored one over the other. Why would you do this to Nathan? Jealousy and hatred flared in Liam's defeated eyes. Didn't you just treat me as Nathan's substitute? After he came back, I refused to let you play happy family in front of me. You were the stupid ones, not trusting your own flesh and blood. Chloe sighed deeply. Mom and Dad never wronged you. They treated you even better than Nathan. It's your own heart that's twisted, seeing filth in everything. Looking numb, Liam was led away by the police, the medal still hanging around his neck. On the day Liam was sentenced, Mom, Dad, and Chloe placed flowers on my grave. His fellow inmates, hearing he'd betrayed his adoptive family and caused the death of their biological son, despised him. They tormented him in prison, forcing him to act like a dog daily, playing fetch with him. A tennis champion is suited for this kind of exercise, they'd sneer. Dad spooned some soup towards Mom's mouth. Honey, open up. Mom's eyes were dull and unfocused, reacting only vaguely to the sound. She couldn't cope with the fact that the adopted son she cherished had destroyed her biological son. Lost in a daze, she suffered a mental breakdown and was hospitalized. Dad lost his passion for police work too. The fact that I died because of a criminal he'd arrested left a deep scar. Dad sighed, wiping drool from the corner of Mom's mouth with a tissue. We were wrong in the end. When Nathan came back, we shouldn't have been so harsh with our words. We should have cared for him more. Now Nathan's gone. You've driven yourself mad, and I can't face wearing this uniform anymore. But Mom just stared blankly, fiddling with the ring in her hand, the one I had given them. Mommy will go with Nathan to the competition. Nathan has to do his best. Chloe stood outside the hospital room, sighing helplessly. Nathan, if you saw this, would you forgive Mom and Dad? Perhaps unable to bear the fact that I died indirectly because of our parents, Chloe submitted her resignation. She didn't want to live in the same city as them anymore. Watching Chloe walk away with her luggage, seeing my gray-haired parents in the hospital room, I sniffled. My heart felt like a vast, desolate wasteland. Mom, Dad, if there's a next life, if I become your son again, please don't lose me. My form began to fade, my vision blurring. In a daze, I seemed to hear Mom and Dad's gentle voices. Nathan, come home for dinner. Chloe gently took my hand, smiling as she tapped my nose. Our Nathan worked hard.